Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. I'm hoping you guys are all having a fantastic day. So today's upload is going to be a video about the potential for a spring polar vortex. Now, yes, the temperatures in most of winter and spring that has occurred to this point have been very warm, above average, a lack of sustained cold, a few shots. I mean, you can see right here, there's a cooler air mass across the upper plains, the Midwest, and southern plains after a big storm that occurred a couple days ago, and really yesterday and Wednesday across South Dakota, Minnesota, and South Dakota into southern Canada. Now, this cold isn't really gonna be the polar vortex here. There's going to be a much stronger air mass that's going to be coming in late next week, and the models have really been advocating it for the last couple of days. I was doubting it at first as it was very cold air that they're showing, but yet again, I've waited a couple of days, and the models haven't changed, so it's about time to make a video about it. It's going to be a huge weather factor for these parts of it, for a good portion of the country. So if you guys like anything weather related content, please consider subscribing to this channel. Please consider liking this video. I do anything, all sorts of weather related content, so if you're interested in that, please consider subscribing. So right now, let's look at the GFS model, a global forecasting system. We're looking at the 2-meter temperature anomaly. This is in Celsius, so that's why, the bright orange is only 6 degrees, which is Fahrenheit, isn't too awfully much. In Celsius, that equates around 12, 15 degrees above or below average. So right now, you can see we have this big air mass, cooler air mass. It dives into the U.S., but really just dwindles, and you can see that across Saturday and Sunday it just falls apart, really doesn't do much, and the cold air retreats back to the north and accumulates across southern Canada, while a warm air mass from the southwest turn United States really pushes through and brings in a lot of warm air. Now, this is a bad thing for any fruit growers, any fruit tree growers. If you have any fruit trees that are about to break buds, they most likely will break buds through this time frame. It's going to be very warm, a good period of warm temperatures, and many may break into flowering, and that's really bad news, as this cold air mass that will come will bring freezing temperatures across majority of the United States, at least the northern United States. So it's really bad news for them, but I don't know what to tell you. I don't really have any much good news other than this warmer air mass right here. I know that right now some good news would be useful in the times we have come, but again, a little bit of warm air up until next Wednesday, Thursday, so at least that's good. You'll have several days of nice conditions, but I mean, seriously, this cold air mass that's gonna unleash is just something different. So you can see by next Friday and into Saturday, there's a cooler air mass, really nothing to go home about. There's maybe 2 to 3 degrees below average in Celsius. That is moderately cooler, nothing polar vortex title worthy. It really dwindles, and we see the sustained warmth across the west continue, and the cooler air pushes into the southeast, but this is where all hell breaks loose. You can see that we have a giant pool of colder air that kind of retreated from this first wave, which is right now settled across the United States as we speak. That one retreats, sits for a week up in the north, kind of regathers energy, and you can see it just spills across the United States. This would bring extremely cold temperatures, and these temperatures would be well below average. 20 to 25 degrees below average in terms of Fahrenheit, and you can see some areas, especially across Texas, very, very below average. I mean, reaching 20 degrees in Celsius, so 30 to 40 degrees below in Fahrenheit. And the west remains warm, and this hopefully isn't going to be long-lived, but you can see another air mass comes through, which is weaker but still significant, and then maybe some warm air tries pushing through. Again, I mean, winter is still hanging on for sure, and some models are pointing towards a large storm system across the eastern United States late next week, so that's also very concerning, and we'll have to monitor that. But you could see a giant air mass of cold air is just going to come through, and it's going to bring temperatures just plummeting down. So let's take a look at the 2-meter temperature shaded, which actually tells us what the temperatures are going to be in terms of Fahrenheit versus just anomalies, which is how kind of the deviation from average. And you can see that we get very warm temperatures, 60s, 70s, 80s across the central southern United States. The north is also pretty well above average, or at least closer to average. And then this is where really things start becoming cold. Okay, and notice that again, it's April, so it's not going to be, negative numbers. But if this was winter, then yes, this would be a polar vortex. So it is a spring polar vortex, and you can see that this is just going to be unprecedented for this time of the year. And you can see that we get a lot of cold air. Many locations, let's see, Friday, not getting out of the 40s or 50s across the United States. That's just half as bad. We push into Saturday, gets a little bit warmer across the southern United States. The north is well on its way for very cold times, and you can see that by Saturday night into Sunday, we have our first frost across the United States. Anywhere that fruit trees are breaking across these locations, this would be a disaster. It would toast all locations. Then you can see Sunday night into Monday, very chilly as well. We get frost out 29 degrees by the Wisconsin-Illinois state line into the Ozarks, Missouri. You can see very chilly, possibly into Texas, down to 30 degrees. So very bad news for those locations where blooms have already occurred. And you can see it's just really intense cold, unprecedented, to be honest with you. And you can see many days not even getting out of the 30s. Look at Tuesday. I mean, just really chilly across the northern United States. Nothing compared to what we will be seeing in the next week. And it's a little bit tough because, again, it would be better if this cold was occurring now and in the warm later on, but it's the warm and in the cold, so fruit tree production may be dwindled really significantly from this, and any tender vegetation, so really not good news. But notice that after a while, things do start warming up a little bit, and the frosts and freezes are a little bit pushed back, but there could be another air mass that comes through, and you can see cools things off yet again for Michigan, Wisconsin. So really concerning, but again, that's what spring is, just absolutely unpredictable. So let's look at the European model, as this is the GFS. Maybe it's just one of the silly models that's showing this. No, in fact, the GFS was the first model to show this, and then the European caught on to it. You can see this is the 500 millibar geopotential height, shows us where the heights are below or above average, indicating where the temperatures are above or below average. That's basically what it boils down to, and you can see that up until next Wednesday, Thursday, we're looking at warmer temperatures than average across a good portion of the country, and then we see that first air mass across the northeast, very cold temperatures, and then we just see a giant pool of air pushing to Sunday, Saturday, and into Monday. Hopefully that's it. Hopefully it doesn't go much farther along here, but it looks as if it will be some late February, March like temperatures. And you can see that a giant system, 984, a beast of a storm could go across the northeast. So this could really be some bad news for portions of the northeast if a snowstorm were to be occurring. Right now, the European model is advocating of the storm pretty intensely. You can see these are some of the temperatures across the Chicagoland area. I was just looking at our temperatures, and you can see many locations down to 32 degrees. Let's look at the precipitation type and rate, and let's zoom out of Chicago, and let's go to national. And let's see what this storm is all about. So again, right now, very warm temperatures, really not much precip, a little bit of precipitation. You can see midweek there with that first frontal system. It gets colder, and then we start getting a big storm starting to develop next Friday, which is very far out, but I'm just telling you in this video that there's the potential for a snowstorm. So I guess keep an eye on for it. With such cold air, I wouldn't be surprised for there to be a significant snow event. And again, when you have very cold air and very warm temperatures, kind of colliding in mid spring, early April right now, it would be a catastrophic possibly storm. And you can see that we have this big low system. Severe weather would probably be out of control with this storm. You could see lots of icing. This would be actually sleet, and you could see across the Midwest, the Chicago area, and then this pushes into the Northeast and just becomes a beast. You could see Michigan, New York, getting lots and lots of snow out of this. So this would not be good. Definitely not be good for farmers and people trying to get out early, but I guess it's a dose of reality that we've been missing throughout this whole winter. I would like to show you some of the snowfall amounts. To be honest with you, I haven't looked at them myself. I don't think they would be too impressive, as there was a lot of mixing with it. But again, with April snowstorms, you don't need a lot of cold air to produce lots of snow, and you can see that there would be some sizable amounts. Central Michigan, across Detroit, over a foot of snow. Across the northern portions of the upstate New York, you could see 13, well over a foot, and into Illinois, 5, 4, 3 inches. So yeah, this would be very bad news, but again, we haven't seen this the whole winter, so I guess we get what we've been missing out on. I preferably would not want this, but again, I have to keep you updated about this, as that's my job. And let's look at the 6 to 10 day outlook. You could see cooler than average temperatures from the 9th to the 13th, a little bit above across the south. And then 8 to 14 is just all hell breaks loose. You could see very confident in the below average temperatures, and 11 through the 17th. So just not good news at all. And it's just very, very cold air for the United States in April, which is probably the worst, as you know, we've had a warm winter, now we're going to have a cold spring. Really just unpleasant. Now you can see that the 3 to 4 week outlook includes a lot of below average temperatures across the northern U.S. as well. Whether or not this is accurate, tough to say. You know, these let me tell you, I've been monitoring the 3 to 4 week outlook for a while now. They've done a horrendous job at this. And again, it's 3 to 4 weeks outlook, so it's very hard. But they have all this, let's say, quote-unquote data that they use. It's been absolutely just, you know, they were predicting from a couple weeks ago at around this time frame, way above average temperatures, and now it's going to be cold. So, again, I would take this with a grain of salt. They've done a really poor job. They've gotten really bad survey results from people, but you know, that's what a 3 to 4 week outlook does. I mean, it's just very hard to predict. It's not reliable, but you know, they tried their best. The 6 to 10 and 8 to 14 is more reliable, but still that has been pretty tough as well. You can see this is the April forecast, which just by the looks of it will not hold true either. A little bit of warmth at the beginning, followed by lots of cold. So it's tough. It's really tough. You can see how weather really hasn't been much improved since I would say the last 10 years. I mean, the accuracy probably has gone down because of the changes in the climate, and really just it's been a lot of hard work. The models haven't been accurate this winter. As you recall, my winter forecast wasn't really accurate. Theirs was completely off as well. So we're living in times where the weather is about as accurate as it was 10 to 15 years ago. So thank you guys so much for watching. Consider liking the video. Consider subscribing to the channel. And I'll see you guys in the next episode. See ya. Bye.